What's up guys, welcome back to the channel. My name is Sarthe, and today we're finally going to dive into some Phase 3 or Tier 6 BIS lists. We're finally going to break down exactly what you want to be going for and what you want to actually prioritize, because you can find a BIS list almost anywhere, but to understand your loop prio and what you want to actually go for first is kind of more of a thought process. Now, I'm really excited to share this with you guys, and if you like any sort of hunter content, any sort of TBC hunter content that is, or any sort of speedrun content, and also, of course, I've been making some classic season mastery guides as well, make sure to like and subscribe, or swing by my Twitch channel, twitch.tv/Sarthe, just to come say hi and ask me some questions. Now, really fast before I dive in, I do want to plug two content creators that I think are really helpful if you also want to learn anything or have other questions and I'm not really available, or if you want to see some other perspectives that are amazing for hunter guides. And those would be both Vermos, who you probably know from the Hunter Discord, but he also streams as well as has his own YouTube channel, and we're actually going to use some of his BIS lists today. He actually made like 50 different BIS lists, so if you want to like see every different situational BIS list, check that out, as well as Enthaz, who's pumping out some amazing guides on YouTube as well as on Twitch, and he is a rank 1 hunter master pumper as well. Anyways guys, let's dive right in. One more time, if you like the video or if you want me to cover anything for the hunter class, you have any questions, just let me know in the comments. I'll try to get right to that. Finally, we're about to get some static haste and armor penetration. This is going to be a ton of fun. Next phase, hunters are going to be pumping. Basically every class gets a lot stronger, but it's going to feel amazing. But the first thing I want to touch on is the thing that's probably on most of your minds. What is my weapon upgrade, my main weapon upgrade? Now there's technically one BIS one and one non-BIS one according to the sims and according to a couple different situations, and I'm going to talk about both of those. Now the Bis Bow is actually not the one off Illidan, it's actually straight off of Archimonde, Bristle Blitz Striker. Let me just show it for you right here. Bristle Blitz Striker. Now this is 28 stamina and 25 crit. They're both 3.0 weapon speed, and they have the exact same DPS as well as top end and low end damage. Now the 25 crit actually adds up to be more of a DPS increase than what you're getting from the bow off of Illidan. Now if we go over to Illidan right here, you can see the black bow of the Betrayer. Both of these weapons look absolutely epic. Now instead of having that crit as well as stamina, you get 8 mana back on every successful attack, as well as 26 attack power. Now situationally, this could be huge. We obviously know that the issues with mana really stack up in some of these longer fights, especially if you have issues with Judgment of Wisdom. So if your guild's not necessarily good with getting Judgment of Wisdom, I would particularly choose to go with Black Bow of the Betrayer, or if you're doing some sort of like speed run situation. But the BIS is actually going to be from Archimonde, so we're not absolutely getting BIS here from Black Bow of the Betrayer. It is actually a decent upgrade, almost 10 DPS, to go with the Archimonde upgrade instead. All right, now that I've talked about the weapons, let's look at the exact BIS list guides. Now there's two important things that really happen here that we're going to focus on for the next phase. Now, bosses actually now have two different sets of armor. Bosses will either have 62,000 armor or 77,000 armor. And these two different armor sets will actually lead to slightly different BIS sets. But to utilize these sets, you do actually have to get 1850 in arenas and get some PvP weapons. So today we're not really going to touch on that. It's just something to know. The DPS difference between the two sets is tiny, so I wouldn't really worry too much about it. And then the last thing, the question that everyone's kind of probably wondering is, when can I switch off of my tier 5 set? When can I break my tier 5 4-piece? And all you actually need is 2 pieces of tier 6 to break this set. One of the pieces is going to be static and the other one depends on either of these two. So first off is going to be the shoulders, the Grand Stalker's shoulders. These shoulders are going to be one of the biggest upgrades, if not the biggest singular upgrade for you this phase. So make sure you absolutely prio the shoulders, and then it's going to be between the gloves and the legs. I would suggest the gloves. It is a slightly bigger upgrade than the legs. So these 3 pieces right here, the shoulders, gloves, and legs, should absolutely be very high on your prio list, because these are huge upgrades, even though you're fighting against the other classes that may be wanting them. Now, you're not really gaining much of a DPS increase from the set bonus because your 2-piece set bonus actually gives you more mana on aspect of the Viper, it's the 4-piece set bonus that gives you a nice little actual damage dealt on steady shot. You get 10% more damage on your steady shot. This is really nice. Now these are the most important pieces, but you do want to get your 4-piece very quickly. So the chest piece, also a very strong and very solid pickup right away. Now, the other piece that you were currently using the Riftstalker head, that is actually going to be replaced by Curse Vision of Sargeras. This is going to be a very highly sought after item. Everyone wants this, so you might actually have to prior this very high. Outside of your tier sets, this is the next biggest upgrade, actually almost twice as big of an upgrade as upgrading your weapon to one of these new weapons. So don't worry so much about the weapons. It is huge, but getting this is actually bigger, or your tier set is actually much bigger, significantly bigger. So make sure you get Curse Visions after you get your 4-piece, and then let's move down in the list. You're now going to have a new necklace, the Choker of Serrated Blades. Then we are actually still using the Thalasin Wilder Cloak, so you don't actually have to change your cloak. You've got this cloak off KT sitting there looking juicy. Where our bracers we're going to be using are the Insidious bracers, and these are pretty nice, a decent upgrade, but not something I would aggressively prioritize, especially over your tier or your helm or your weapon or your rings and belt, which I'll get to in a second. Now your main hand and offhand weapons both are going to be changing now to Boundless Agony and Blade of Infamy. And we're also getting 20 agility enchant, so that's going to be a nice little upgrade, moving away from your claws to daggers. Now because we are moving from claws or fist weapons to daggers, you are losing out on that bonus of using actually weight stones, but the increase in DPS is actually enough to make you actually want to switch these weapons. They aren't massive upgrades, but you do want to move to these pretty quickly. Then moving on to our belt, it's going to be Don Alejandro's Money Belt, and this is a decent upgrade, nothing massive, so I wouldn't be too focused on this, again outside of any of the other pieces. Then we have the Shadow Master's boots, replacing your Cobra Lash or whatever you're actually using at the time. This is another one that's going to be pretty nice. You're actually going to notice as I scroll over these items that you can see the gems are actually the epic gems in here. We do finally get epic gems next phase, so you're going to be replacing all of your blue gems with epic gems as you get them to drop and as your guild kind of gives them to you. Now, a huge upgrade is going to be the Stormrage Signet Ring. This is amazing from Illidan, and you're going to get this juicy upgrade giving you armor pen on your ring, 126 armor pen just on your ring, 30 hit and 66 attack power. This is a amazing upgrade, just flat out. This thing is awesome. Use this because with our new sets you are going to want the hit, but if you don't need the hit, even then you might want to swap this on early on just because it is such a good item with this armor pen. And then later in the phase, this is going to take you quite a while to get Band of the Eternal Champion. This is the final version of your upgraded ring from your reputation with Hyjal. So this is going to be really nice. Another one that increases your attack power by 160 when it procs for 10 seconds. It's going to kind of depend on the proc rate and internal GCD, but it still looks like this is going to be a very, very powerful ring. Obviously, it's a massive upgrade either way without that proc. Our trinket upgrade is going to be Madness of the Betrayer. This is going to be a second static or passive trinket, and we again don't know exactly the proc rate, so we can't technically say exactly how good it is, but it's going to give you a lot of armor pen. That's what the proc really does. 300 armor pen for 10 seconds while also giving you 20 hit rating and 84 attack power. This currently sims at a very small DPS increase over Bloodlust Brooch because you can time Bloodlust Brooch with your cooldowns whenever you want to. It really does depend very heavily on the actual proc rate and the internal GCD. So hopefully as the PTR eventually comes up and we can test this, more information will be out there. I will try to test it out and give you as much information as I can moving forward. Now the other set, the only other things you're going to want to focus on is if you need a 9% hit set. And this only changes two things. One, it's your belt. Your belt goes back to Belt of Deep Shadow. And two, your weapon. Your weapon goes to Halbert of Desolation. You can see the two-handed polearm. It gives you 30 hit and 100 attack power, as well as 51 agility. Of course, you'll enchant it with 35 agility. So if you're melee weaving or you are going for an actual hit rating situation, this is what you're going to be rocking. The polearm is your substitution for using both of the new daggers. So with that, it rounds out your full Bis list as well as Prio guide. Again, guys, you're going to want to focus on getting those shoulders, gloves first, or shoulders, legs first. Those are going to be your two massive upgrades. Those upgrades are like legitimately 5 times larger than the bow upgrade. It's kind of insane, especially the shoulders. The shoulders are the biggest piece. And then you're going to want to get your 4-piece as well as Cursed Visage of Sargeras. Good luck getting that over your warriors, but it is huge, a massive DPS upgrade as well. I'm really excited for next phase for hunters. I think we are going to absolutely destroy the meters, especially with this static armor penetration and a little bit of haste as we're starting to get it. Guys, if you have any questions, again, make sure to let me know in the comments. If you're curious about any sort of prio against other classes, I can break that all down as well. But thank you all for watching. One more time, shout out to Veramos, whose actual Bis list we actually just straight up used, because he put together like 50 different sets for every different situation, and you can find those all on the Hunter Discord or at his YouTube channel and his Twitch channel, which is just Veramos. Also, happy holidays to everyone. I hope you're all doing amazing, and I will see you all on the next one.